Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. So the console sales figures for the month of June was released and some very interesting data was shared. Now as most people know by this point, Xbox no longer releases their official console sale numbers and there is a number of reasons for that. Phil Spencer said that he did not want to play into the console wars, but there is also the fact that Xbox has moved away from just consoles. They have built up an ecosystem that now include PCs, mobile and soon TVs as well. Xbox has reached a point where they want you to think of Xbox gaming as more than just a console. You can now be an Xbox gamer without having a console, and that is the whole point. Sales figures play into that hardware narrative, but be that as it may, just because Microsoft does not release numbers does not mean that there are not third-party companies that keep track. And that brings me to an article from Video Game Chronicles where they went over the figures that was released by NPD. The headline reads, the Xbox Series X and S was the highest grossing hardware platform in the US during June in terms of dollar sales. June's dollar sales of Xbox consoles set a new record for the Xbox platform, NPD reports, beating the previous high set in June of 2011. Now just to be clear, this is not actually units moved, but just in terms of total revenue. It is also worth pointing out that Microsoft does not make any profit on console sales. This is of course a common business practice for hardware manufacturers. You break even or even sell at a loss, but you do make your money back again with software. It is a strategy that many companies use. The best example that I can think of here is Apple. Most people probably knows this, but Apple is not a $1 trillion company because of all of the iPhones that they sell. They barely make any profits off of the product. They make their money when you boot up the phone, and the same can be said for Sony and for Xbox. Not Nintendo though, as they actually do turn a profit and also dominate sales. The article goes on to say, however, in terms of pure unit sales, Nintendo Switch sold the most during the month of June. So far in 2021, Switch is the best selling hardware platform both in terms of dollar and unit sales. That obviously is very impressive. Nintendo continues to dominate the market with amazing sales figures, and it just shows you what type of hit Nintendo Switch really is. They took the lessons that they've learned from the Wii U and they fixed all of that with the creation of the Switch, but PlayStation also have their own record to be proud of. The PlayStation 5 remains the fastest unit selling home console hardware platform in US history, excluding portables, for its first 8 months on sale. This is not surprising at all. The demand for PlayStation has been extremely high and it is next to impossible to get a PlayStation 5 anywhere. Now video games also saw amazing growth. June video games hardware dollar sales jumped 112% when compared to June of 2020 to $401 million. This is the highest total achieved in a June month since 2008, which was $670 million. The year-to-date hardware consumer spending has increased 45% compared to 2020's first half to $2.3 billion. Now I have to say these numbers are quite impressive. If anything, I thought that these numbers would be lower. We know that last year the pandemic was at the highest and with that record numbers was reported, so to see those numbers continue deep into this year is amazing. But then again, lots of places are still under deep lockdown currently, so maybe some of these numbers should be expected. Now in software, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart debuted as June's best selling game, achieving the highest launch month dollar sales of any title in franchise history. According to NPD, launch month dollar sales more than doubled those of the previous high set by Ratchet & Clank in 2016. However, it is worth noting that the PlayStation 5 game debuted at $70. Another new release, Mario Golf Super Rush, debuted as the third best selling game in June 2021. Launch month dollar sales of Super Rush were the highest ever achieved by a Mario Golf game. According to NPD, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 jumped from 51st place in May to rank 17th in June, boosted by the release of of the Switch version of the game. Finally, Sea of Thieves is up from the 56th place last month to top 20, helped by the release of the Pirates of the Caribbean crossover expansion. So all three of these consoles had amazing years. You have three massive companies doing very different things and focusing on different market demographics. Xbox with Game Pass and building an ecosystem outside of consoles, PlayStation with massive AAA exclusives, and Nintendo doing what they've always been doing with their first party exclusives. It shows that the gaming space is big enough for everyone to exist together. But for now, this is where I'm going to end it. So if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button. If you would like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing, and as always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.